The Instant VersaZone is a fantastically versatile air fryer that's a steal at under 200 pounds. Its roomy capacity combined with the flexible cooking zones and modes means it's a great choice for families. It's no bigger than most dual-zone models, yet offers far more flexibility, plus it's super simple to use. It cooks well and I wouldn't hesitate in recommending it. Pros: crisp, evenly browned results. Cook 2 foods at once. Windows let you check on food during cooking. Cons: frying baskets hold a smaller quantity. Expensive. Requires some experimentation. The larger capacity of the Instant Vortex Plus dual drawer air fryer means it takes up slightly more countertop space than the Vortex Plus. However, as we've already mentioned, it isn't as bulky as some other dual-zone air fryers on the market. It comes with a new look, too. Its cuboid shape makes way for a more angular look, with the touch controls positioned closer to the top of the air fryer. The dial to adjust the cooking temperature and duration is slightly smaller here. Unfortunately, while at first glance the glossy black finish looks stylish and smart, it didn't remain looking that way for long. It's prone to picking up greasy fingerprints, and so will need to be regularly cleaned with a damp cloth. As well as air fry, the Instant Vortex Plus dual drawer air fryer can roast, bake, grill, reheat and dehydrate. The air fryer has a total capacity of 7.6 liters/8 quarts, which is split evenly across the 2 frying baskets. The front of the baskets feature a built-in plastic window, which, along with a light in the cooking cavity, ensures you can see how cooking is progressing. For easy cleaning, both the baskets and the crisper plates that sit inside them are dishwasher safe, an improvement on its predecessor, where only the crisper plate could be cleaned in the dishwasher. Cooking temperature ranges from 35 degrees Celsius 95 degrees Fahrenheit to 205 degrees Celsius 400 degrees Fahrenheit for up to 72 hours at a time, although the latter is at lower temperatures. At its maximum temperature, the Instant Vortex Plus dual drawer air fryer can cook for up to 1 hour. It's also possible to adjust the cooking temperature in 1-degree increments, compared to the 3-degree increments offered by the Instant Vortex Plus. You can even switch between F and C for the cooking temperature. When it comes to cooking duration, you can set each basket to complete cooking independently, or utilize the sync feature that stalls the basket with the shorter cooking time so that the 2 zones complete at the same time. The air fryer doesn't come with a recipe booklet. Instead, you'll need to go online or use the Instant app for your smartphone or tablet for inspiration. There's also no cooking chart or guides, which means some experimentation over the ideal cooking temperature and time will be required. This is especially true when cooking frozen foods, to ensure you can cook them to your liking. Testing the Instant Vortex Plus VersaZone. I cooked a lot of different foods in this air fryer, so it's hard to know where to begin. But let's start with the classic air fryer food, chips. I put the divider into position and after cutting up my chips, about 500 g, and soaking in water for 30 minutes, I dried them and coated lightly in oil. I set both sides to air fry, but set the chip side to cook for 25 minutes at 200 C and on the other side, where I intended to cook scampi, I adjusted the settings to 190 C for 10 minutes. Then I hit the sync cook button. It automatically preheats for around 21/2 minutes, so I didn't add the chips until it beeped and alerted me to add the food. Even with the divider in place, both sides are so roomy that my 2 portions of chips had more than enough space. In fact, it looked like barely anything, and the same can be said for the whole bag of scampi. Once I'd hit start, it began cooking the chips but kept the scampi side on hold. It's up to you whether you add the food to both sides at the beginning or wait until it's about to start heating the second side before adding the food. But it won't alert you to add the food to the second side, so you'll have to set your own timer to remind you to pop it in. After a couple of stirs to shake them up during cooking, the chips turned out evenly cooked and fluffy on the inside. They browned nicely and the scampi was lovely and crunchy but still juicy on the inside. Scampi wasn't the only breaded food I cooked in this air fryer. During the couple of weeks that it sat in my kitchen, I cooked breaded veggie burgers, corn escalopes, breaded chicken goujons and breaded fish fillets. Without exception, the air fryer mode crisped up the crumb on each of these to a delightfully crunchy texture, while whatever was under the crumb remained succulent. What's more, they all cooked in a fraction of the time they'd take in an oven. As per every air fryer review I do, I air fried some bacon. I removed the divider to make the most of the space. I was cooking up 2 different types of bacon, but you should be able to fit in 6 slices of regular back bacon. I air fried it at 195°C and it was crisped up in around 8 minutes. The fat rendered well and the meat didn't dry out. It was the perfect air fried bacon. I decided to use the bake function to make cookies. And instead of using my tried and trusted chocolate chip cookie recipe, I found a new recipe for oatmeal and raisin cookies and gave that a try. After mixing up the cookie dough, I preheated the air fryer on bake to 160°C. To make sure the cookies didn't slide through the perforated tray, I cut a piece of baking paper to roughly the right size and baked them on that instead. I managed to fit 5 balls of cookie dough in at a time. They cooked in 10 minutes, which is about right, but I had quite a big mixture and it was a hot day and I didn't love the idea of standing there doing another 5 batches. So after the first 2, I improvised. I wasn't entirely happy with the consistency of the cookie dough. It was much softer than my usual dough and the cookies weren't the right texture nor oaty enough. I knew I should have stuck to my usual recipe. So instead of carrying on with the inferior cookie dough, I added extra oats and raisins and put the rest of the dough into a Victoria sandwich tin. Thankfully there's plenty of space for this size tin inside the drawer. I baked it at 165°C for 20 minutes in the hope that it'd turn out like a cross between a big cookie and a flapjack. At the end of the 20 minutes the top was golden brown, lightly crisped and really even in color. After I'd left it in the tin to cool for an hour or so, I turned it out to see if my experiment had worked. But it was still a bit raw in the middle, so I carefully placed it back in the air fryer and baked it upside down for a further 15 minutes. Thankfully, after the extra time, it was great, so much better than the cookies, and exactly the cross between flapjack and big cookie that I'd been hoping for. Don't you just love it when an experiment goes to plan? On another occasion I used the bake function to cook up a big batch of my homemade granola. This is a regular recipe for me and one that I now always cook using the bake function in my air fryer. I preheated it to bake at 160°C. The preheat takes about 2 to 3 minutes. I removed the perforated cooking tray and filled the base of the drawer with my granola. It took about 20 minutes to cook and crisp. The time was similar to my other air fryer, but it wasn't as well crisped, so I'd probably increase the temperature slightly next time and try it at 170°C to make sure it's extra crunchy. To try out the roast setting, I decided I'd roast up a whole chicken. I got a medium-sized chicken, about 1.6 kilograms, and attempted to put it in the drawer. And while there is more than enough space, the drawer isn't tall enough and the top of my chicken was hitting the body of the air fryer as I tried to close the drawer. Undeterred, I cut the chicken down either side of the backbone to flatten it out into a spatchcock. Then I slathered it in chili oil and some spices and placed it breast side down on the perforated tray. I set it to roast at 180°C for 45 minutes, flipping it over halfway through. When the timer went off it was golden brown with crisp skin and the meat was succulent and tender. Personally I don't mind having to spatchcock it because it cooks fast and evenly. But it's something to keep in mind if you prefer your chicken left whole. Lastly, I used the grill function to cook and char some big red peppers and red onion wedges. I could have used air fry or roast to do this too, but thought I'd give the grill a go. I grilled them at 205°C and they cooked and charred to perfection in 18 minutes. At the same time I decided to air fry a breaded corn fillet at 190°C for 10 minutes. But I forgot to press the sync cook button. Luckily you can cancel one side without affecting the other. So I canceled the air fry side and then waited until the peppers were 10 minutes from being done and reset it so they'd finish together. It's super handy to be able to stop, adjust and restart one side, all without affecting the other.